Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Grosz, and I'm an attorney and partner with Hemrick O'Malley, PLLC here in New York City. Today, I'll be doing part 2 of my What Is series. And today, I want to talk about what is the difference between affirmative versus defensive asylum filings. Affirmative asylum is the concept that if somebody comes into the United States, either with a visa lawfully or across the border, but does not have any interaction with the Department of Homeland Security's ICE, then that person must file an application for asylum within 1 year of arriving to the United States. If a person files an application for asylum without having any interaction with Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, without being placed into removal or deportation proceedings before an immigration judge, and that person would then file the application for asylum before the USCIS, or U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, that is the idea of an affirmative asylum filing. Basically, the word affirmative just means that the person is proactively applying for asylum. If a person affirmatively files for asylum, then they would submit their application to USCIS, and USCIS, the asylum office in their local region, would schedule them and any dependent family members for an interview in a USCIS office before an asylum officer. That's the concept of an affirmative asylum filing. Now I want to talk about defensive asylum filing. If a person either crosses the border and has interaction with the Department of Homeland Security and is therefore placed into removal proceedings, alternatively, if a person enters the United States with a visa and has any interaction with DHS's ICE office and is placed into removal proceedings, and then the person applies for asylum for the first time before an immigration judge, that's a concept of defensive asylum filing. Basically, defensive asylum filing is a person makes their first application for asylum before an immigration judge versus affirmative asylum filing, where a person makes their first application for asylum before the USCIS asylum office. Now, it's very important to keep in mind that if a person does defensive asylum filing, that individual is going to have to appear before an immigration judge, of course, make their application for asylum before the judge, and very importantly, is also going to have to submit certain forms and paperwork related to their asylum application to the Department of Homeland Security so that they can get fingerprints taken if they are defensively filing their application for asylum. A common misconception for many people is that if they had interaction with DHS's ICE office, and in that interaction, their fingerprints were taken, that they don't need to have their fingerprints taken any longer. That is not true. If a person is defensively filing their asylum application, they must submit certain paperwork to DHS in order to prompt fingerprints specifically related to their defensive asylum application. If a person does not submit that necessary paperwork to DHS and they get to their final individual merits hearing before the immigration judge, there's a good chance that the judge and DHS is not going to be able to either proceed with their hearing or even make a final decision on that person's case. This is an important concept that many immigration attorneys know about, and individuals also need to know about if they are not going to be represented by an immigration attorney before the immigration judge. With that being said, it's very important to hire a qualified immigration attorney to help you either file your affirmative asylum application or your defensive asylum application. Both can get very complicated, and there's important nuances to know what documents need to be filed in either circumstance. Us here at Hemrick O'Malley PLLC represent people every day in their affirmative and defensive asylum filings. We're happy to hear from you. We're happy to help you in any matter of immigration that you may need. We also are happy to answer any questions that you may have about the difference between affirmative versus defensive asylum filings. You can reach us at 833-848-7838 or online at hemrick.law.